Sorry, we were just training for historical and public art.
Oh,
nice.
that's okay. Nice.
Welcome aboard.
Okay, great. Oh, it's on, sorry. Okay, this is the regular meeting of the Recreation and Parks Commission. I'd like to call this meeting to order.
Do we do roll call?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner McCauley,
Here?
Commissioner Deckman,
Here.
Commissioner Yosef Tsai,
Here.
Commissioner Corman Super,
Here.
Commissioner Blair,
Here.
Vice Chair Rowe,
Here.
and Chair Lang.
Here.
Okay, we have a full quorum.
Okay, great. I'd like everyone to rise to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, on to D, which is approve order of agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the order of agenda?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
On to the blue folder items, which I don't think we have.
We do not have any this evening.
Okay, so the consent calendar. It's just the affidavit of posting.
So we would just need a motion to receive and file.
Okay, can I get a motion to receive and file?
A motion to receive and file the consent calendar.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And can I pass right through G since we don't have any excluded?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And then onto H, which is public participation on non-agenda items.
We don't have
any?
anyone online or any e-comments.
Okay,
And then just for the record, we don't have anyone in the audience, so we can move on.
okay. So then we're going to I, which is items continued from previous agendas.
We don't have any this evening.
And then J, which is items for discussion prior to action.
So the first item is the standard commission subcommittee review and project update. I know this agenda is pretty light and I'll have a little bit more information on that during my director's report. But circling back, this is the standard item that is on every agenda. It's an opportunity for all of the existing subcommittees to provide an update to the commission on any work that's been done since the last commission meeting. Just as a brief overview, we have our facility user subcommittee, the historical commission liaison, and the volunteer acknowledgement program. I know that with the volunteer acknowledgement program, there were some items that were requested to be added to this agenda for the commission's review. I unfortunately didn't receive those. I didn't see them in my inbox until I received them later in the afternoon, which wouldn't have given you all as a commission time to review those. So I'm sure they'll go into it a little bit more in the commission subcommittee's update, but that will be as part of next month's agenda. So just wanted to mention that. And so with that, if any subcommittees wanted to provide an update, I'll turn it over to the commission.
I have not an update, but just a couple of heads up. We're going to be organizing our next meeting. And so I'm going to be sending out correspondence to the participants to get it organized. But I wanted to check with you first for reserving a location and a date. So can I just ask now?
No, we don't have our facility calendar available at the moment.
Tell you that?
But yes, email me and Michelle and we'll coordinate and find a location and time for you.
And just so the committee knows, we're going to shoot for the end of February, probably the Friday the 23rd. So that would be the first option. So
Okay.
that's all we got. Thank you.
Chris, can I suggest not doing that Friday because it's a closed Friday? So
good to know.
a lot of us won't be in the office.
Okay, so would that Thursday be okay?
Yes,
Thursday? So maybe the 22nd then.
okay,
But we'll clarify and finalize that before.
thank you.
Glad I asked.
Okay, do we have any other subcommittee update?
I have one for the historical subcommittee. Well, I don't really have one, but I have an update. I spoke to one of the commissioners, and he was going to bring it up at their next meeting, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to attend that meeting. So he did ask around to a couple of the commissioners, and they didn't really know what the issue was. This is where they want to put the signs around the park, the history of the Redondo. And so he couldn't find anybody that knew anything about it. So I suggested he bring it up at the next meeting, and he will. And I think the only person that may know is the representative from the city for that commission, and I don't know who that is. So that's the update. So hopefully I'll have more next month. Otherwise, I think we should just close it because it doesn't sound like it's something that they're actively working on.
If I may, I just want to clarify, are you saying close any intended work on that project or close the subcommittee?
Close the subcommittee.
The subcommittee?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to wait until you hear back from the commissioner before we do that, or did you
Yeah.
want to do that tonight?
Yeah, we can wait one more
Okay,
month and see
sure.
what happens,
Sure, okay.
if you guys agree. Yeah.
And anything for the volunteer subcommittee or?
Yes, we've,
Okay, go.
Annika and I are on the committee, subcommittee. We've done some things over the past 2 months. We do have 2 applications in for 2 volunteers. Gil Contreras wrote the applications. These are both people who volunteered at the doggy park. And Annika and I agree these are very worthy candidates. Are we going to present these next week, or we've already approved them, so what do we do at this point?
Excuse me. So yeah, this is a new process. So we're going to kind of feel it out
Yeah.
as we go. But the intent is that the subcommittee review them. We would then agendize it so that it's part of the agenda packet, the application.
So that the commission can review those, and at whatever meeting that is, the commission would have a discussion to let us know if they want us to formally acknowledge one or both.
Oh, that's fine, yeah.
Yeah, so
And,
those applications will be on next month's agenda.
And the intent is to give individual or group awards. And, we're thinking possibly every couple of months, maybe 5 a year, 6 a year. We're still brewing on this. Annika and I received some recommendations from Kelly on 4 different types. And I think we're zooming in on this little wooden surfboard that can be engraved. It's a tabletop surfboard that she knew about, and we both like it, I think, but we're going to finalize that. It's like $35 per board. We have put the city logo on there perhaps, maybe a recommendation, just a generic statement. And then perhaps give them a framed plaque. The challenge is going to be really to get applications in, which we can actually put out a call for applications, I believe. So we want to get some people to actually screen. These 2 are obviously yes.
Yeah.
But I trust Gil, and these people have been doing it for one of them is 20 years volunteering at the doggy park. Go ahead, sorry.
And I think the other thought too is connecting with you all and making sure that we promote it amongst the organizations that are utilizing the facilities too, right? To make sure that they're aware of this, because it's an honor for them as well.
Yeah, we could definitely bring that up.
Yeah, we haven't even reached out to sports volunteers, health volunteers. We've got this doggy park, we've got the park cleanups, a couple of them. There's just a lot of places we can reach out to. We haven't even started that process. I was thinking we'd go ahead and get one awarded, get the process going, and then keep on running with it, because if we don't do it now, it'll be delayed. So let's just do it. But I think we're on our way. And anything you have to add?
No, I think you did a great job of covering it all.
We can discuss this in more detail next time, and even maybe these people, who knows? We could talk about their backgrounds, talk about the award, how we're going to, when and where we're going to present, right? Sorry. And do you have any idea how we would present this, or where, or what format?
I think, it's probably a good idea to start with the commission. You all are so involved in so many nonprofit organizations, to share it within your networks. We can certainly post it on our department social media pages. We do have our new city website, and I don't know, I'm trying to remember visually if there's any like scroller bars or anything on that main page. We likely can do something there. There's a few different ideas of what we can do that are low cost or free, in fact. So we can put our minds together and kind of figure out how we want to roll that out.
Yeah, and the surfboard concept is about this big. It's about 8 inches long. It's a cute little desktop thing. They're like minimum order of 12 is like $400. So it's reasonable. I'm not sure if that's still in the petty cash region or not, but.
Yeah, just for the commission's information, I had spoken to Jeff about if it's $500 or so, we can take that from our current budget, our department budget, and support the purchasing of that. Anything that begins to get a little too much, we will have to kind of reconsider. But if it's within $500, we can just purchase that. We do not need to go back to the council to ask for that allocation. Which was what was brought up at the last meeting. So that's what Jeff is referencing.
So I think next month we'll look at the 4 types of awards just to make sure our thought process is good, that we're going to choose this miniature surfboard. And we'll talk about the nominees also next month.
So in that, and this is just probably a procedural question more, would we put together like a presentation to share with this group, or is that something?
Ultimately, it would be the subcommittee's recommendation. So it's ideal if you guys can put together, even if it's just a quick one-pager that says this is what we would like to do for the plaque. And even if on the nominees, you guys have specific things that you would like to have a report on, to say this is our checklist of why we believe these organizations or individuals are eligible, I can include that as part of the report. Otherwise, you can just present on that in the evening. But if there's anything with the plaque, likely there's going to be a visual associated with that. That should be included in the agenda. So,
Sure.
But I can work with you guys to put that together and make sure it's included in the agenda.
We'll do
so
a
we can connect.
one-pager at least, and then just to have something to look at. And maybe we could talk about the volunteer groups we're going to approach, because they're going to have to give us applications to recommend who they think in their organization deserves these wonderful surfboards. So, all right.
Cool.
I think we're good. Thank you so much.
So I have a question then. Do we need to motion to agendize that for the next meeting, or do you just do it?
No, it's just kind of procedural for the subcommittee. So, because that's already been approved as part of the policy for that program. So no, we'll just automatically agendize it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I appreciate Gil putting this together, because we wanted to continue it because it's a great idea. Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. So we have a couple other subcommittees, maybe just one more. The Park Ranger Committee, but we have not.
Oh my goodness, yes. I apologize that I forgot to update the report. Yes, you're right. We do have the Park Ranger Subcommittee.
But we have not met with any department heads yet, and we haven't set any meetings.
Yes, and that is on my end. I had promised to set those up with the holidays. It just got a little wonky with everyone's schedule. So I will make sure we get that scheduled before our next meeting. So I apologize for the delay.
That's okay, yeah. Okay, I think that's it for the commission subcommittees. And on to J2.
Okay, so I do have a number of items for the director's report. First of all, I know I emailed you all, but I wanted to just in front of you apologize. I know this agenda is fairly light. Coming out of the holidays, the intent was to hold the pickleball discussion that you all had requested last year. The intent was to have that today. Unfortunately, we just weren't able to finalize that report in time for the posting of the agenda. We wanted to make sure the report was comprehensive, and we just unfortunately just didn't have the resources to get that fully done. So like I had said in my email, I do have a number of kind of project updates and kind of a little bit of forecasting, just so you kind of know upcoming few months what the discussion topics will be as we start the new year. And then just some other kind of general updates for you. Kind of towing on what we just talked about with the pickleball discussion. I did want to formally thank Susan Higgins. She's a very involved member of the pickleball community. and has really spearheaded all the efforts to get pickleball courts throughout the city and continues to do so. She had donated a paddle saddle. If you play pickleball, you know what that is. But it's essentially a marker to say who's next to play on a court. You kind of put your paddle in this little, the one that she donated has some pipes on it. You just stick it on the next pipe, and then whoever's next gets to play. So, but she had donated that for Perry Park. And so we did install that, and we're working to get it a little bit more secure, but it is installed and up, and I've actually seen quite a few people using it. So I just wanted to, on the record, thank her so much for that donation. On another exciting news, I did mention our new city website, but it is live. If you haven't checked it out, please do so. Please do so with the mindset that it is still a work in progress. There's still a lot to be updated on it, a lot of stuff that we're refining. I think especially with something this large in your mind, you have an idea of how it's going to be laid out and how the information will be presented. And once you get it all on there and then see it all together, sometimes you have some extra or different ideas. So I only want to speak for our department. A lot of our information is there, but there's still a lot of enhancements. We're going to be working on photos, refining the information. So we'll continue to update our pages. And so with that, if you do notice items or things that we can improve on, please feel free to send those my way, and we'll see what we can incorporate with that. But again, if you haven't done so, please do check it out. It's visually a beautiful website, and hopefully in the next few months it'll be pretty buttoned up. So, Michelle?
Yeah, I would just like to add the search engine. The web developers are still working on a few of the functions. And so we've been working with the city manager's office and communication with the web developer. And so there's certain search engine options that they're still working on. You'll notice Seaside Lagoon has 2 pages on the facility side. They're working on how that gets linked to a better page option that we had developed. And then looking at how it gets viewed on the mobile app. We got a lot of feedback from our senior participants over at Anderson Senior Center. And so I relayed that message over to the city manager's office for them to share with the web developers. So they're currently still working on a lot of the setup for the website.
Thank you, Michelle. And then just as a quick kind of add on to that as well, that if you were set up to receive notifications on the previous website, such as when agendas were posted or anything like that, you do need to re-register. So just want to let you know, on the city's homepage, there should be a little box on the bottom right that pops up that says something to the effect of need to re-register. You click on there and it's pretty user-friendly. So just want to throw that out there. Wanted to bring up a few things about Dominguez Dog Park. The SoCal Gas project, if you remember, maybe about 6 months ago, I showed you some images. Southern California Gas Company has a pipeline testing facility at the northeast corner of the dog park. And they need to utilize that location for I think it's every 7 years, they have to do pipeline integrity testing of all the underground pipelines. And so in order to utilize that facility for that testing, they do need a little additional space surrounding the facility to stage their additional equipment. So they will be taking a little portion of the dog park and will be doing so for several months. That project has already begun. I believe they started setting up some of the fencing and the equipment. I don't know if the testing itself has begun, but they're at least starting to stage that equipment. The dog park will remain open. It's just a small corner is going to be closed. The dog training area will be open. The entrance will just has now been moved to I'm trying to figure out my directions, the southwest corner of the dog training area. So just want to bring you guys all that update because that was delayed about 3 to 4 months. So just want you to know we are moving forward with that. And then the city has also, on a separate project, but somewhat related, has just is close to finalizing a full replacement of the perimeter fencing around the entire dog park. So just some park enhancements there. So moving on to Alta Vista. Public Works is really close to replacing the backstop at Julia Field. I know that we've had some discussions with that backstop area as well as the dugout areas down there as well. The dugouts, I think, is going to be the next step or kind of next discussions of a project that we have, but the backstop will be replaced fairly soon. So our Public Works Department is very close to pulling that trigger to get that work started.
Will that be utilized, like, or how long will that project take to do? Do we know?
I don't know, and I know the season is kind of,
About to start.
yeah, so, and we certainly will work with the leagues to make sure that it's not impacting. I don't know what that turnaround is for how long it takes, but I'll circle back with Mike Klein to make sure. I know he knows when the seasons begin, but it's a good reminder for all of us, so. At Anderson Park, if any of you have been there recently, the playground surfacing is in need of a lot of repair. It's just started kind of chipping and pulling away. We're going to do a full resurfacing underneath that. It'll be that rubberized surfacing that we use through most of the parks. That will be completed sometime in February. We're shooting for early February, but given rain delays and such, it may be later in the month. But another park improvement that we'll be working on with Public Works. Wanted to circle back with you all. A few months ago, it was requested that I look into Fulton Playfield. If you remember, it had sounded like there was some information that location was potentially designated purely open space and was not allowed to be utilized for permits or organized instruction or activities of any kind. I've searched through our department's paperwork and files as much as I have access to. I've reached out to Public Works, and there's no information that would be aligned with that. But that's also not to say that we wouldn't look at that location as such. It's if any of you are familiar with it, it's just a grassy area. There is a backstop there. But there is no infield, so it's really just a large field area. It does not have restrooms. It's also kind of a work site because there is an infiltration facility there that I think is going to be updated actually pretty soon. So it's not a regular kind of park that has very clear amenities. It's just kind of an open field. So I can say, though, that we have not, or we don't intend on utilizing that for organized instruction or organized camps or activities. And if we do, it would be for our smaller kind of contract classes and such. So it wouldn't be anything for large gatherings of any kind. So I don't quite remember which commissioner had brought that up. But if... Was it you, Chris? Okay. So I don't know if that answered your...
Yeah, it was, the discussion was, could it be used for practices for teams, younger teams? And because it doesn't have an infield, but it does have the backstop, so it could be I'm talking about for baseball or softball.
For baseball, yeah.
And so that was the idea.
Yeah, when I outreach to Public Works, it did sound like in the past, and I don't know how far in the past it was, but there was some residential concern in the surrounding areas of parking, and the fact that there's no restrooms, that, it's supposed to just be a neighborhood park, so that if you have to go to the restroom, you just walk home type of a thing, so.
The practices are usually for those younger age groups are like 1 hour. So it would be,
pretty short.
Wouldn't be a game, it would be like, it would just be, would have been. I don't even know if there's a need for it now, but in the past there was the idea. So if it were to be available, it probably could be used, but I don't know.
Yeah, so if you or someone from the leagues or whoever would be doing the scheduling wants to reach out, we can connect with our outdoor facility team and make sure that we get that. We see if that's possible, and then if we can, we'll look into scheduling something for that location.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, I wanted to give you a little bit of kind of heads up on some of our upcoming items. I know that, again, pickleball unfortunately couldn't make tonight's agenda, but we will be discussing it in February, as well as our volunteer acknowledgement applications that we have, and hopefully a recommendation of the subcommittee on the volunteer acknowledgement item or plaque. And then in March, I'm excited to say that we will be receiving a presentation from our waterfront team as well as the consultants who are working on the Seaside Lagoon redesign, so that the commission has an opportunity to provide some input into that. While not technically considered a park per se, it is a recreational amenity in the city, and one that our department directly oversees for the facility management as well as the staffing and just kind of ongoing day-to-day operations. So I do think it's important that this commission has an opportunity to input or provide input for that. And so we are planning for that in March. And looking ahead to, I unfortunately wasn't able to receive the calendar for the council chambers, but we are looking to reschedule the February commission meeting. As of right now, it falls on February 14th, which is Valentine's Day, which I know can be hit or miss with some individuals. So I will be reaching out to you all after the meeting via email to see if we can reschedule that to an alternate date, just to make sure that we have a quorum. So just a heads up on that. Just a few more items, just if you can bear with me. The city offices, just as a heads up, we do have some upcoming holidays, and just want to let you know, we'll be closed on Monday, January 15th, as what for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and then on Monday, February 19th for President's Day. So just a heads up that our offices will be closed. Alta Vista and Wilderness Park will both be open regular hours on both of those days. So it's just the administrative offices in City Hall will be closed. And then lastly, we're very excited to announce that the spring newsletter and then our summer camp brochure, so the combo of those two, will be released the week of February 19th. I know that the commission in the past has had some concern over the release of specifically our summer camp information a little bit later into the spring season, which tended to be pretty late compared to some of our neighboring jurisdictions. And so our team has really been working hard to pump the brakes on that and pull that back. And so our camp information will be out on February 19th. So we're really hopeful that that will really boost our registration a little bit and give the parents a little bit more information to choose the camps that they want their children to be part of. So that concludes all of the items that I have for you this evening. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
On the February 19th date, when is the registration again? I think you told us that before, but I wanted to confirm.
Is it typically a week later? Registration? No.
No, I believe off the top of my head, March 14th is sticking out right now. I'm sorry, March 4th is sticking out.
Okay. So about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks later.
Okay. Thank you.
No, sure.
Any other questions? Okay. And we can move on to member items and referrals to staff.
A while back, we discussed the Youth Commission. Has there been any progress on the Youth Commission forming?
I don't know, Michelle, if you've heard if we've received any applications, because the city clerk's office receives those. So I don't know if we've received any to fill those vacant seats.
I believe this year we received one application.
I think I know the one.
Councilmember Kladovich and myself were trying to schedule a meeting with the rec coordinator that I have that manages that. We did an outreach to some of the high school teachers, and so we were trying to, and now I reached out to the school district. I reached out to Anthony Toronto to see how we can collaborate to get more teen involvement.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay.
Okay.
All right. And can move on to adjournment. Does anyone want a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
That was a good one.